The old wing was a signal that he was fair game for ill treatment. The Kruger Pond bullies made his life miserable if he tried to eat the corn I threw out. In spite of the negative attention he received, Charlie stayed with the flock. It was better than no attention at all. But Charlie's motor wasn't about to sputter and die. No, sir. Little by little, he grew to trust me. Little by little, he grew stronger and more confident. Little by little, his broken wing became his badge of courage. No matter how despicable the other geese were, none compared to Tony, the Terrible. One day I noticed a commotion in the bushes on the bank near my home. Toting a canoe paddle, I edged up toward the suspicious area to inspect. What did I find but Tony on top of Charlie, pinning him down and pecking away. "Tony, stop it," I hollered, but he kept right on. That's when I shoved the canoe paddle between them and lifted Tony as hard as I could. Tony finally left the scene of the crime and flew away, but poor old Charlie lay dead still. I dialed Fred's work number but found his voicemail. Beginning to cry, I raced to my neighbor Leon's house and knocked on the door. "Tony's killed Charlie," I sobbed. "Wait, I'll come with you." Leon and I went back to the bushes. I thought he'd help me bury Charlie. But hallelujah, the tomb was empty. Charlie was gone. We looked a few feet away, and there was Charlie, limping and peaked, but very much alive. So, and this is my favorite illustration you can see when you come in and look. I had a good friend who did illustrations for the story, and that's a good picture of Charlie with his old broken wing that stuck out. So anyway, after that, I think Charlie and I got a little bit tighter. The bond grew a little bit after I maybe saved his life, I don't know. But he was very hesitant to let anyone touch him. He wouldn't eat out of my hand, but he did even eat out of my hand once or twice. But I think he realized that I was his friend. And at that time, I was the only friend he had. Nobody else wanted him there. None of the other geese wanted him there. And he was definitely at the bottom of the pecking order. But as he grew more confident and as he grew stronger, he had a mission. And that was to find a mate. So I'm going to read you the essay, Charlie's Quest. I wasn't sure about Charlie's intentions when it came to females. I had been the only woman in his life until 2001, and for a while I thought he was a confirmed bachelor. In time, I learned that he wasn't a bachelor by choice. Charlie struggled and floundered, but he never gave up trying to attract a female. "Do you have any female geese that can't fly?" Fred asked Dr. Kelly at the Wildlife Center in Waynesboro. Poor Charlie had grown so desperate for female companionship in the spring of 2001 that he was making advances toward the mates of the other geese on our pond. Being unable to fly didn't keep him from having frequent bouts with jealous ganders. Fred was not one to sit idly by and let poor Charlie pine away. As he hung up the phone, his triumphant grin was a dead giveaway that he had found the perfect match for Charlie. The Wildlife Center offered Honey. She had a birth defect that caused her to fall every time she took a step. But she was so tame that she would let us hold her in our laps. We quickly fell in love with her. The first time she laid eyes on Charlie, she fell in love with him. She followed him everywhere, slipping and falling and often getting stuck in the mud at the water's edge. One morning I saw Charlie standing behind my car, blocking me in. I blew the horn and backed up a little, expecting him to move as he usually did. But he wouldn't budge. I scanned the pond and saw Honey, mired in the mud. She couldn't get out, and Charlie wasn't about to let me out either. At least not until I did something about Honey. Fred was a city boy and had never set foot in our pond. Ill-equipped for this particular mission, he donned an old bathing suit and rescued Honey in the November cold. She flapped her wings and sprayed him with mud from head to toe.